Hello, welcome back. This is going to be the lesson on how to post from the sales journal. So what I would like you to do is, again, hit pause if you need some extra time. I want you to open up problem 6.4 that we had started the other day. Mine is displayed on the screen so that you should be able to see it fairly well. And we have all the journalizing done. So go ahead and hit pause and I'll catch you on the flip side. Okay, so your problem now is open. The next thing to do is post. Now, with special journals, they post, when I say they, I mean businesses, will post daily to the subsidiary ledger, which in this case will be your accounts receivable ledger. And they post at the end of every month to the accounts that have special column headings like sales, sales tax payable, and accounts receivable. Now, when I say accounts receivable again, I'm talking about the accounts receivable controlling account in the general journal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the individual posting that has to be done. Unfortunately, we can't get away from that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this column, accounts receivable debit, because all I want you to do, excuse me, is to look at this column. Okay, don't worry about the rest of these. So if you look at the very bottom, you have an accounts receivable subsidiary ledger, which we're going to be looking at in a couple of minutes. So what I would do is I'm going to work top to bottom, and I'm going to start with Ketchum Clothing. It is on September 2nd, and this is going to be the amount, the $484.95, that we're going to post as a debit. If you can't remember, look at your column headings because it tells you. So let's go to the subsidiary ledger. Now mine, I believe, is already posted. So if you go up here to Ketchum Clothing, you can see that on September 2nd, I'm going to let the description section blank. Now, notice the posting reference column. Before we used to use a G because it was the general journal. Now we're going to use an S because it's the sales journal, and it's sales journal page 10. So what I'm going to do is my posting is done just like it was before when you were posting from the general journal. So this is going to be a debit of $484.95. And then over here we have a balance. So if I highlight that, I will do the equation with you one more time, although you probably know how to do it by now. Keep in mind you're in accounts receivable. So what kind of a balance would this be? It would be a debit. So what we would do is type equals. We're going to go up and click on the blank space above, and then we're going to say plus a debit minus a credit and hit enter. Now all you have to do from here on out, whenever you go to these other ones, yours will not be posted like mine is unless it says balance. Then you'll have an opening balance in there. This particular account did not. Now the other thing is, you can copy and paste this formula then on the rest of these. We're in the subsidiary ledger, so there is no account number. So we're going to go back to the sales journal. We need to indicate that this line has been posted. So what I'm going to do is, since I posted it to the subsidiary ledger, I'm going to use a check mark. So I am going to go up to my insert, all the way to the right to symbol. Click on my check mark, say insert, and close. Okay? So unfortunately, all of these do have to be posted individually. So again, what I'd like you to do right now is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to go through the rest of these and post them individually to the accounts receivable debit column, and then we'll check them. So I'll talk to you in a few minutes. Okay, now you're done posting from the accounts receivable column to the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger. So I'm going to get rid of the highlighting there. And I want you to notice you should have in your posting reference all check marks in this column. And let's take a look at your subsidiary ledger. So your Jackson City Schools should be $726. Ketchum Clothing, we didn't do anything else to that one. That's the same as it was before. Meadowbrook Church should have a balance of $453. Norton Industries, that had a previous balance before, is now up to $865.70. Riley and Slay is $585.12. Tang Construction, $742.72. And Zothwell we did not touch. That already had a balance of $300 in it. So that's how you post your subsidiary ledger. So let's go back to the sales journal. And now what we're going to do is we're going to assume that it's the end of the month, and it is now time to do something called total, prove, and rule the sales journal. Okay, that's what it's referred to as right here. So I shouldn't use red, I guess, in accounting. That's not a good thing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is you're going to type the last day of the month. Now, if you guys don't know how many days are in the month, you need to learn them. Because if you put September 31st there, I'm going to mark it wrong because there aren't any 31 days in September. There's 30 days in September. For sales slip, there's no source document here. We're just going to type a dash in there. And, oops, you're going to have to put a space dash there. So put space dash. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to type the word totals, because these are going to be the totals for this month. Now, single and double ruling becomes very important in this chapter, so you need to pay attention to what you're doing. Keep in mind, single rules mean add, subtract, multiply, or divide anything above that line, and your double rule means you're finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here, and we're going to get the thick bottom border. We're going to put a single rule in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to auto sum. And to make it easy, I can just copy this right across so that, well, I think it's going to make it easy. Maybe not. And we'll just do it this way. Couldn't get the copy. There it is. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to prove. So what I need to do is I'm going to go over here to the next two columns. And in one column, I'm just going to type debits. Other column, I'm going to type credits. And then underneath that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy any column that has a debit at the top of it and any column that has a credit at the top of it. So what I'm going to do with debits, I'm going to type equals, and I'm going to go over here and grab this total and hit enter. Then I'm going to go over to the credit side, hit equals, grab that total, hit enter. Same thing again, grab the sales total and hit enter. Okay, now what we're doing here is we're going to prove that our debits equal our credits. So you need to put a single rule there. We're going to auto sum again, even though it's pretty obvious what's going on. And then we're going to do the same thing, and you keep your fingers crossed and you hope that they both equal, and they do. So we're going to highlight those, and we're going to do a double rule. Okay, so after you get the double rule in there, that means that we have proven that our debits equal to our credits. It's not a guarantee that it's right, but it certainly is a pretty good start. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, we're going to highlight our totals. We know that the debits equal our credits. We're going to put a double rule in there, and then you have now totaled, proved, and ruled the sales journal. Now, there's one more thing to do, and that is to post these totals. We're not going to post individual amounts here because we can do it in just one posting by using that total. So this is where you're going to save a lot of time. because before you would have posted all of this, all of these. Now, we already did have to post all of these. So what I want you to do next is underneath these three columns, we're going to do some formatting, okay? We are going to go up and you're going to change where it says the number ribbon, you're going to change to text, okay? You're also going to make sure that it's on center. So make sure that it is centered. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to work left to right, the way you would read. So the first thing I need to do is I need to go to my general ledger. I'm going to sales, because that's my column heading, and I'm going to credit sales, again, in my column heading, for this $2,745.50. So let's go to your general ledger, and we are looking for sales, and you can see I have it posted for you right there. So what you'll do is you'll date it the 30th. It is still S10, Sales Journal page 10. It's a credit. Again, if you're not sure, look at your column heading. It will tell you where to put it. So right here, you would type your equals. You would go back to your Sales Journal, click on the total sales, hit enter. And then over here is going to be a credit balance formula. So I will do that with you one more time. Equals, click on the cell above, minus a debit, plus a credit, enter. And there's your total. Now, since we're in the general ledger, this has an account number, 401. So what are we going to do with account numbers? We're going to go back to the Sales Journal. Clearly, we're not going to be able to put it here because you have to squeeze 3 account numbers there. So instead, we're going to put it underneath in parentheses. So you're going to type parenthesis 401, close parenthesis. Now, if you don't have text in here, you're going to have problems. Okay? So what I want you to do now is I want you to go to sales tax payable, credit it for $111.99, then go to accounts payable in the general ledger, and you're going to debit that for $2,857.49. You can hit pause while you're doing that. Okay, so now that you are done posting your totals, your sales journal should look like this. This is a completed sales journal. You're not going to do anything more to it for the month of September. So you can see your account numbers for each of these accounts are in parentheses below the double rule. Okay, so these have all been posted, which saved you, like I said, all of this posting, which would have been at least 12 lines of posting that you were able to do in 2. So it does cut it back considerably. So let's take a look at the general ledger real quickly. And you can look at your account balances. We didn't touch cash. Here's your accounts receivable, $4,157.49. Supplies, we didn't do anything to. Store equipment, sales tax payable, $111.99. Here's that sales amount we put in there, and sales discount, and then that's all that you have in there. Okay? So the very last thing to do would be to go to the tab that says Schedule Accounts Receivable, Schedule AR. And I'm going to show you how this works. Now, this total right here, we can actually drag underneath if you want. Some people put it over to the right. So it has a 3-line heading: who, auto engineering, what, a schedule of accounts receivable, when, September 30th. And then these are the names of all of your accounts receivable from your subsidiary ledger. Okay? And the final balances for each one are recorded right next to it. And then what you would do is you would auto sum, and this $4,157.49 should equal what you have in your general ledger controlling account, $4,157.49. That's how you do a sales journal from start to finish, so you should have a pretty good handle on how to do that. The next thing I want you to do is go to cash receipts, posting. Bye for now.